Everyone out there has heard of Bill Nye, the Science Guy. We're going to do a little 5 minutes with Dr. Drew, the Science Jew. If you would, give my audience the easy TV digestible version of what is RNA, what is mRNA, and what was the breakthrough that finally allowed for the creation of the COVID vaccine after your decades of research on this?
mRNA is kind of like the middleman. In our cells, the DNA has the codes for every protein, for every biologic function, for everything that allows us to live. The DNA has to communicate with the rest of the cell. And the way it does that is messenger RNA, mRNA, makes a copy of one of those codes in the DNA. And then it transports it to a machine. The machine is called a ribosome. But what it does is it reads the code and makes the protein that the code codes for. So it's the middleman. And what our vaccine did, most vaccines up until this point in time would give the inactivated virus,
Right.
or sometimes the live virus. What our vaccine does, it gives the code, the RNA, the cell takes it up, reads that code, and makes lots of the protein. So the COVID vaccine had the spike protein, which is the surface protein that allows it to infect cells. And when you make an antibody against the spike protein, it stops the virus from infecting. And because the RNA is so efficient, and what Katie and I did is we made the RNA better. We made it non-inflammatory so people could tolerate it, and we made it produce 1,000 times more protein. So it's much more efficient. And that combination made the vaccine incredibly potent. The initial results were 95% protection, which you never see with a viral vaccine.
Thank you, Dr. Drew, the Science Jew, for this segment. We appreciate it. How did it feel for you to get the vaccine and be like, we've done it, here it is, and now it's in my body and we've reached this threshold?
My dream for my entire life was to make a drug, make a vaccine, make a therapeutic that would save people's lives. And, whether it was 1 or 10, it didn't matter. But having the RNA put into my arm as a vaccine, that 55 years of dreaming had come to an end.
It's unbelievable. What would you say is the most, or is the most frustrating misunderstanding that people have about your work or the vaccine?
I've been working on vaccines for most of my career. And in the past, there were always anti-vaccine people. And we would joke about it and say, well, they're the California hippies who don't believe in anything. And, there was a small number of people, and you could figure out how to get around them. And they didn't impact the level of vaccination needed to protect the rest of the country. When it became a political fight, a marker of political allegiance to go against the vaccine, I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And it was so incredibly frustrating because, in my view, our leaders are supposed to help us, are supposed to make us healthy, make us live well, make sure there's food and healthcare and other things available. And here we had a huge amount of our politicians saying the vaccine is bad, it'll give you cancer, it'll integrate into your DNA, it'll make you magnetic. I mean, Bill Gates is putting chips in, just the massive amount of craziness. And you expect that. There are crazy people who do that. You don't expect our politicians, and such a large number of them, to go against something that everybody knows will help.
Where are you hoping to advance your technology to next? What's the next frontier for what you're working on?
Yeah, so we've got a lot. We have a bunch more vaccines. Influenza and RSV have already been FDA approved. We have vaccines for HIV in clinical trials,
Wow.
for norovirus, for C. diff, for malaria, for dengue. My dream is someday to go anywhere in the world, probably starting with sub-Saharan Africa, with an igloo cooler full of RNA vials and giving people injections of RNA to cure their sickle cell anemia.
How far away do you think you are from that dream of the cooler full of vaccines?
Yeah, I'm going to guess a year and a half, we'll start treating patients.
Amazing.